Welcome to Cardwire. This week we will be talking about the draft for the Cardinals, my favorite part of the year other than actual football. I love the draft. I'm not the best college fan, but it really interests me to talk about the draft, so I thought we'd talk about it today. And to preface again, I am not the biggest college football fan. I don't watch that much. I watch University of Washington when they play and some ASU games too. A lot of Pac-12, I guess. So my opinions might not be the best, but I really thought about this. So with the first pick in the NFL draft at number 13, the Arizona Cardinals select Patrick Mahomes, quarterback, Texas Tech University. This pick is interesting, to say the least. If it was my choice, I actually would have traded down and picked Patrick later. I know 13 seems really high, and maybe you weren't getting the best value, but there's so many teams in the top 15 that are trying to trade down right now. The likelihood of us trading down is kind of small, and not taking this good of a quarterback at this point of the draft would be stupid. Especially because of the players that were off the board, such as Reuben Foster, Mike Williams, Deshaun Watson, and Mitch Trubisky. This pick really came down to best player for the Cardinals available. It was either Pat or Deshaun Kaiser, and maybe I'm biased, but I'm a big Pat Mahomes fan. I think that arm is crazy. And to go over some of his stats, he had 5,052 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. 53 total touchdowns in running and receiving. His career's passing yards is 11,000 yards, and maybe to some people that doesn't seem that crazy, but to me, man, that's ridiculous. This kid has a cannon, an amazing arm, just such an interesting prospect, and Bruce Arians working with him would make it all the better. I really couldn't see a better fit for BA's offense, and in my own opinion, I think that if Pat Mahomes pans out, BA might want to stay here for his first year after Carson to try and lead the team with Pat Mahomes. Maybe. That's just a little thing. The bad about Pat Mahomes is that his throwing motion and his just overall a bit like technique, I guess would be the best way to say it, isn't the best, but I feel like with such a good quarterback coach with BA, it'd be fixed pretty simply. Other than that, about Pat Mahomes, I just think the kid's good. I think that for our team and in general, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks this year. At least third best under Deshaun and Mitch. If Deshaun fell to us with Patrick, I don't know if I would still take Pat. I think I'd probably take Pat Mahomes over Deshaun. With the second pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Budda Baker out of Washington University. Strong safety. And nickel. He is not exactly a pick machine, but this kid is pretty crazy. Last year he had only 2 picks. Had 199 career tackles and 48 last year. I think that he is really great fit for our defense. I think him and the Honey Badger would be really great back there. And at this point also, I was trying to get a corner. I actually was looking at Sidney Jones and Kevin King from UW, and I'm not trying to have like a UW bias, but just those 2 corners. If they were there, I probably would have picked one of them over Budda Baker. But safety is a decent need this year, and I also think that we need a safety that can play in the nickel a little more and be able to have Tyrann play a little deep sometimes, especially with the injury stuff. I think him playing deep would be good. I think Budda Baker would be a real good pick in the second round. Also, for Budda Baker, like I said, he is a little undersized, just like Tyrann. He's around 5'10", 5'11". which is taller than Tyrann, but still it's a little undersized for a safety, which I understand the concerns about that. But if he's playing in the nickel, I think he'd be fine, especially since we like nickel safeties a lot. People can play close up in the nickel's position. And with the third pick in the NFL draft, the Arizona Cardinals select. This is a hot take, a hot pick. I think a spicy one, a spicy meatball. I think that this pick is really good for the third round, especially because we need a wide receiver and a kick returner, in my opinion. So we picked Carlos Henderson with third pick in the draft this year. 1,535 yards and 19 touchdowns last year, with 2 kick return touchdowns. That is ridiculous. This kid is insane, in my opinion. I know he played at Louisiana Tech, but this kid is ridiculous. I think that his talent is immaculate, and especially if he fell to us in the third round, he's worth that pick. Everyone always talks about, low competition. The competition isn't strong enough, He is a small wide receiver, but he can play on the outside. He's about 5'11", I believe, which is taller than John. It's taller than JJ. Everyone's like, he's a little too small. I don't buy that. I really don't. I think Carlos Henderson would be a beautiful pick in the third round. Another wide receiver I would have liked in the second round, actually, is Cooper Kupp out of Eastern Washington University. And you're like, I know you're like, Nick, why do you like all these Washington kids? Washington made a lot of good prospects this year, okay? Don't judge me. Cooper Kupp would have been great as well. I loved him this year. Another pick that I was considering here instead of Carlos was Jake Butt out of Michigan. He's really good tight end, plus his name's kind of funny. But like I said with Carlos, his competition wasn't that great, which I don't think is the biggest deal, but a lot of draft analysis think it was the greatest deal. And also, he's a little short, and I know we want a big wide receiver, but next year we can get a big wide receiver. We have our big wide receiver in Larry right now, and we have Jaron Brown, who I think is a very underrated player for us. I think he's great. And if John Brown comes back, and we have Carlos and John, and Larry, and Jaron, I think that would be money. I think that would be great. I think it would be amazing. And with the fourth pick, we need a little cornerback help. That's everyone's biggest thing, and I'm a little upset I waited this long to get a corner, but it just didn't. No one seemed worth a third round pick when I had that third round pick. A guy I was looking at throughout the picks, I was hoping he wouldn't get picked, is Corn Elder. One, because his name is really damn cool. Corn Elder? Are you kidding me? Corn Elder. Fourth pick, Corn Elder. I also don't think he's that bad of a football player. Again, he is short. I'm realizing a trend that I picked a lot of maybe shorter players. I'm not that upset about it. He's at 5'10". He gets big boyed by bigger wide receivers, but the good about him is he actually reminds me of Honey Badger. He plays like a big corner. Kind of like, he plays like he's Brandon Browner, when he was good. He breaks up a lot of passes. His pick count, not the best. He got 2, I think, or 3 in the last 2 years, and 2 last year and 1 the year before. But his tackles and the fumbles, he's actually got 8 fumbles in 2 years, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going off the top of my head. He's pretty damn good, in my opinion, for a fourth round corner. I think we're getting good value out of a fourth rounder. Also, corner talk. I have faith in what's his name? Not Brandon Williams, the other one we got. Anyway, he played safety last year. Off the top of my head, I can't remember him. I'm sorry, but I liked him a lot. When he got that pick against the Rams, he seemed like he did really good in coverage. With the fifth pick, this is an under-the-radar pick. I think this is a guy that will go unnoticed and will be a very great pick. Very great value in the 5th round. His name is Connor Harris. He went to a school that I can't even tell you the name of because you wouldn't know where it was. He set a tackle record for the NCAA, had 184 tackles. By the way, he plays middle linebacker. 184 tackles at middle linebacker is crazy to me. It's just crazy numbers, in my opinion. And 633 career tackles. 633 career tackles. Are you kidding me? He is, everyone says, all the draft analysis, and I don't really follow those guys, but he is born to play football. He's one of those guys that is a football player, plays punter. He played wide receiver. He played quarterback at one point. Linebacker, though. This kid is all over the field. All over the field. Ridiculous. I guess some bads about him is he went to a small school, Division 2A, I think. I think it's Lindenwood. I think that's where he went. Anyway, he went to 2A division. I don't care. He's a football player. He's a little stubby. I think he's around 6 foot, but he got big shoulders. He's stubby dude. He's got no neck, but it's all muscle. Anyway, he seems like a great pick in the 5th round. If he went to a bigger school, if he went to another school, I think he'd be a second round pick probably. With those tackles, he'd be like a 1st round pick probably. Another guy I was considering here from the linebacker, and in the 4th was actually Ben Boulware from Clemson, but this guy Connor Harris, his stats were just so good, ridiculous. Not a pick guy, but the tackles, and we need that. We need a run stuffer that can get tackles. Carlos Dansby just can't do that anymore. I don't think he's not as fast as this guy. With the 6th pick, the Cardinals pick Davin Goodcox. Davin Goodcox. He has good hip explosion, is something I wrote down. I was watching highlights and I noticed that his off the ball, he's defensive lineman. He's an inside guy, D-tackle, D kind of end, I guess. Good hip explosion. Great off the ball. He goes right there. I tell my kids that I coach, that's the most important thing. Hip explosion. Getting off the ball, getting away. He's great at that. He's from LSU, by the way. Had 6 sacks the last 2 years. He's a good pass rusher. When he's on the field, he's not on the field as much. I'm pretty sure he didn't play a lot of snaps. But I really liked him as a D lineman. He's not the best run defender, but I'm not that concerned about run defense, especially if you had a guy like Connor Harris over the middle. And I think our front seven's good enough to overcome that. And I'm not saying he's starting. He'd just be a really good rotational guy. With the last pick in the draft, we select JoJo Mathis. He's an edge guy. His hips, we're talking about hips again. Hips don't lie, baby. Shakira, hips don't lie. The way he moves, his swivel motion, is great. It's great. The way he gets around people. He's an edge guy, an outside linebacker, outside DN type. He'd probably play a role like, Marcus or Chandler. He's a 7th round pick. We're not expecting much from him. Bad. He's not the most athletic, but I do think he's a definite project. He's not super impressive. I'll say it. He's not. But for a 7th round pick, I think it's great value, and I think that works out good. So that's it for the draft. That's all 7 rounds. Conventional pick wise, I didn't add that in because I just wanted to do the first 7. But if you did want to know who I picked, it's a little stupid, I guess, but I picked Chad Kelly from Ole Miss in the 5th round with a conditional pick. Some may say, oh, we needed another corner or a safety or a linebacker. I kind of wanted to see, just Chad Kelly. He's not really pick. Mind that. I like Chad Kelly. I'm a big fan of him, and if we were to pick a quarterback in a later round, I'd be fine with him, Brad Kaya, Josh Dobbs. Not Nathan Peterman, whatever his name is. I actually really like Josh Dobbs, and I was, before this draft, thinking that if Pat isn't there, I'm going to wait until the 3rd or 4th to pick Josh Dobbs up, or the 5th to pick Chad Kelly up, or the 6th to pick up Chad Kelly. Brad Kay is probably my 3rd on that list. I like Brad Kay. I just don't think he's the greatest player. Anyway, other guys that we might want to keep on the radar, like I said, Cooper Kupp, Sidney Jones. Obviously, he's injured, but I think he's great. Kevin King, great corner. Amazing hands. Immaculate hands. I just trumped it up. Immaculate hands. This guy catch baby Jesus falling from the sky, and Ron Wolfley would say, "Oh my God, he can catch like a blender." And we'd say, "What does that even mean, Ron? What does that even mean?" And Ron wouldn't even know, because he's just that good. Off the top of my head, I'm just naming off Josh Dobbs, Chad Kelly, Kaya, Mike Williams, Corey Davis in the 1st round. Corey Davis, I'm actually really impressed with. I was really thinking of taking him at 13. It was really tight between Pat and Corey Davis. It was like this. And if we pick Corey Davis, I would not be upset. Yeah, if you want to know my opinion on some more draftees, go ahead and comment. I'm always up for discussion. If you didn't like my draft, go ahead and tell me I'm garbage, you hate me, and you can never imagine the Cardinals doing this. You're the worst GM in the world, Nick. And I would say, hey, I agree. I did think I did pretty decent for someone who doesn't really know about college football. I did watch a lot of highlights. I went through some game film. Not just highlights. I went through game film. I watched some games, that everyone was playing in, and I wrote down who was saying. I went through a lot. I really did. I really put a lot of thought in this. I know a lot of you probably aren't going to be okay with the Pat Mahomes pick, but I think he's a generational talent, and I'm probably wrong. He's probably not that great. But I think it was the right pick with who was there. I think either we get Pat Mahomes, Corey Davis, or we trade down. But I think I made up for Corey Davis with Carlos Henderson. Anyway, comment, tell me what you thought. Mad, bad, give it a rating out of 10. Have a nice day. Enjoy your day, That's a guinea pig if you can hear it. Also, comment if you like the beard. I'm growing it out. You guys really haven't seen it. But, yeah. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Have a nice day, boys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.